decent jab, so he did maintain, but another big round for John Molina.
Now, during the rules meeting last night, the referee, is at his discretion to give a standing 8 count if he feels that it's necessary. Obviously, the ref did not feel that it was necessary to give the standing 8 count.
So right now, Tony the Tiger Lopez defending his title for the first time since winning it back on July 23rd. A 12-round decision over Rocky Lockridge. Has his hands full, and John Molina just bursts out of his corner and heads out to tear the title belt right from Tony Lopez. The crowd seems to be very perplexed by the fight plan by Tony Lopez.
They're throwing things in the ring now also.
Lopez now trying to cut off the ring. He did rally at the end of round 5, but you still have to give John Molina a big 5th round. I see you have a 10 round, Sonny.
Absolutely.
10-9, excuse me. But you don't know, maybe another judge might have seen a 10-8.
He may have seen a 10-8 because the champion was hurt throughout, so therefore the judges may have ruled it a 10-8 round, although he did not go down.
The thing is, home court advantage is out the window right now because John Molina is making the 18-foot ring his home court. And Lopez has not been impressive at all.
And if it continues to go the way it did in the 5th round, you could see the upset in the making.
You hate to use the term overconfidence, but certainly the way this fight started, Lopez, the way he has clowned in some rounds, you have to wonder if he's as serious about this. And we talked about a cliche, the eye of the tiger at the top of the show, Sonny. You said, hey, John's hungry. He doesn't have a world title. Lopez has climbed the mountain. He's got his title. Maybe he's not as hungry.
Well, he's had the best meal, so he feels right now, I don't need the prime steak at this point. But John says, listen, I want the prime steak and the salad that goes with it.
Lopez must turn up the heat here in round 6, 7, and 8 if he intends to get this fight back in his corner. Of course, to wake up a crowd, which is reported, according to promoter Don Shargan, in excess of 8,000. Jimmy Montoya up in Lopez's corner, imploring his fighter to start throwing some punches, something he almost looks reluctant to pull the trigger on his combinations.
You know, John Molina is going to have to do. He's boxing, he's staying outside, he's staying out of harm's way, but he's going to have to mix it up because he's not going to win the fight staying away and staying out of reach too long. He's got to get inside and throw some punches, do some damage.
He's certainly demonstrating some excellent footwork and some nice ring generalship, but right now he is not piling up any points, and nobody here that impressive in round number 6.
And you have to realize what John Molina has to realize that this is a championship fight, and you don't just walk through the ring and dance around and win the title. You've got to take it.
30 seconds to go in round number 6, and John Molina not as impressive as round number 5, but certainly Tony Lopez has not shown the hometown crowd too much to cheer about himself. And Molina just staying away from Tony Lopez.
I don't know why he feels it's necessary to do a coasting job in this round. He should be going to work.
You would think that he had him pretty well rocked there in round number 5. We will wrap up round number 6. Round number 7 is next from Sacramento after this. Welcome back to the Arcos Center, and right now things are not going well for the Tiger. And I would think right now he's got 22 knockouts in his 30 wins, Sonny. I would think that Tony Lopez would be wise to score a knockout because he's not in too good a shape for too many cards.
Correct, and I would think also that Molina at this point he should realize he's not doing dirty dancing after this is for the World Championship. He should be going out and trying to get that belt and trying to get to the champion. He got it with a good right hand, no damage done, but he's staying on the outside a little bit too much. He's not mixing it up. If you want the title, you got to go and get it. Be cautious in moving in.
It's almost as his philosophy has changed, Sonny, somewhat from trying to win, trying not to lose right now.
Correct. But he's not that far ahead that he can be comfortable thinking that he's going to go the distance in this fight and win it.
Lopez landing a right hand, rocking Molina after some nice jabs. Molina standing right in front of him. Lopez trying to warm up to the crowd. Oh, they've been almost half asleep because their man has yet to do anything to cheer about. He's trying to turn up the heat here in round number 7, and John Molina just staying out of harm's way. Lopez, known for a very, very stiff left jab, has not really used it that effectively. And the combinations have been few and far between. And when they do land, they are ineffective.
I was going to say he hasn't used very many effective punches. You know, he's being the effective aggressor. He's moving after the man, and John is staying away, but the champion is not landing.
John Molina had a very quick start against Lupe Suarez back in May of '87 and looked very good until Suarez, the big puncher, caught up with him in round number 9. He has won 4 fights since that fight. And his handlers feel he's a much improved fighter than he was back when he lost to Suarez. And now Tony trying to turn up the heat here, trying to stick that jab out, but continues to throw 1- and 2-punch combinations. When certainly to get rolling, he's got to throw 3-, 4-, and 5-punch combinations. He's got to slip, slide, and get on the inside and work that body with those combinations. But he can't do it from afar. This man is too fast for him. Molina's starting to taunt him slightly right now. Lopez landing a decent left jab. But the taunting has started. Lopez started it early in the fight, but right now Molina certainly has a lot more to taunt about. Round number 7, and the champion in dire straits right now. He's already been knocked down in the second, rocked in the fourth, or rocked in the fifth, I should say. And certainly has done nothing in the 6th and the 7th to turn anybody's heads. And there's a lot on the line for the champion here. There's a possibility of a rematch with Lopez down the road, but first of all, a unification match with one of the other champions in his division. We said at the top of the show it might have been a little too much to chew for the champion, his first title defense. But right now, he's got his work cut out for him. We'll come back with round number 8 after this. And we welcome you back. You're looking at the corner of the challenger, John Molina, who probably is leading on many scorecards here at the Arcar Center. But here it is, Tony Lopez landing maybe his most effective shot of the fight, a big right hand, which straightened up Molina. But as you can see, he came back with a combination himself. So Lopez, his best shot of the night taken, and Molina coming right back. So psychologically, that's good for Molina and kind of bad for Lopez. Absolutely, because at this point, Lopez has not stolen the heart from the challenger, John. He has not gotten the respect from him that he should be getting from a challenger. This is when Lopez turned up the heat against Rocky Lockridge back on July 23rd. He went down in the 8th round, but it was the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, which he rallied and pulled out the fight. It's time now for Tony to punch in the time card and go to work. But can he catch a very slick and talented John Molina? To this date, he has not. He's missing with that overhand right. He's throwing the punch, but there's no one there because Molina's getting out of the way of that punch. But the question right now, and you brought it up before, Sonny, is Molina showing enough and being offensive enough to show that, yes, I do want to take this time? But that's what he has to worry about in the minds of the judges. You must impress them judges with your ability to box, but also get inside and land some punches. Tony Lopez insists that he doesn't hear the roar of the crowd. He said he only heard the voice or the heavy breathing of Rocky Lockridge back on July 23rd. But right now, if he can derive any sort of energy and enthusiasm from the crowd, he better do it, because it's the 8th round, and as far as many people at ringside are concerned, the champion's in trouble. Right now, what John Molina is doing, he's pot-shotting. He's moving around, picking his shots, nailing the champion, making the champion look bad, really, giving him a boxing lesson. This is a clinic for the champion. The champion's got to turn up the heat. He's got to take some chances, I would think. Molina doing an excellent job of sticking and slicking, back and forth, changing up his style. Lopez trying to land that big right hand to, as you saw in the 7th, he did land it once. The Sacramento crowd here, not real enthused what they've seen, although a nice body shot to the midsection of John Molina. The crowd getting more into it. Their man showing a little more here in round number 8. Another good right by Lopez. And you can hear the roar of the crowd. Okay, now he's got it going with the right hand. What he needs now is to get underneath with the body shot. That's what he just did with the body shot, and go back up to the head. Possibly Tony Lopez's most impressive round here. Another nice right landed by the champion. The crowd is on its feet. He's trying to get inside. They're trading jabs quite effectively right now. Molina not really hurt, but certainly showing a little more respect for the punching power. Well, if the champion would get in, if he had started working on that body earlier, perhaps he would have slowed John down at this point. You're in the 8th round, and he's still moving like it's the 1st or the 2nd round. A nice combination by Tony Lopez, and the crowd is on its feet. Finally, the crowd getting somewhat involved. And the chants of Tony start to emanate from a crowd in excess of 8,000. here at the Arco Center in Sacramento. And with 4 rounds to go, Sonny means you got to figure it's time for Tony Lopez to realize how important this fight is, and it's time for him to realize that John Molina is not going to roll over.
He's got to realize he's got to go back to July 23rd, and he's got to rekindle that hunger that he had when he fought with Lockridge to retain this title. As you can hear in the background, the crowd is definitely behind him. They want him to ignite himself and get out there and go to work and retain this title.
We've been through